Ellen McCauley. I'm at Pray It Up in Syracuse, New York. Every week I prepare a different topic, a different meeting, and I've been doing this for 12 years. And I always pray about it, always. God, what do you want the group to hear this week? What is important to get the point across? And I've done multiple different topics, different ways, anxiety, worry, etc. And this week, in the preparation of the meeting, God was talking to me and he says, so many people are carrying so much baggage, Ellen. And I'm thinking, baggage? How can I do a meeting on baggage, So the very next morning after I had that thought, I do these daily readings. And this one on the back of the food log by Carrie Walters was the reading the next morning. So I turned my eyes to heaven. I said, okay, God, I'll do it on baggage. And Carrie Walters says, the baggage we carry. When we go into ourselves, our inner desert, and we're trying to become closer to God, we realize it's hard to be closer to God when we have so much unnecessary baggage. And that surrender to God, that letting Him in to lead us and guide us, brings us joy and brings us light. So it's really not a surrender that hurts us. It's a surrender that empowers us to make room for Jesus and the light He wants to give us. He wants to fill us, so we need to empty ourselves of the clutter and the junk and the baggage and the self-rejection that we've been carrying in many cases our entire lives. And it's funny, when Bob and I met, and we don't talk about this a lot, but we both had very difficult childhoods, extremely difficult childhoods. And we both had failed first marriages, and very difficult. Two different situations, both of them heartbreaking. I had a child, he had 2 children, and his ex-wife was gone. We never saw her again. When we met, we decided that between the two of us, we had so much baggage that it was going to take us a lifetime together to unpack that baggage and to go forward. And now 30 years later, we never gave up. We never gave up. And we unpacked so many suitcases, so many backpacks. We didn't give up. There were rough times, terrible times. But we are reaping the benefits of never giving up. And we can do the same thing with weight loss. Because so much of the baggage that we carry is emotional baggage. And it really slows us down and it really weighs us down. And one of the biggest ones is guilt. And I finally got my mind wrapped around guilt. We continue to feel guilty for what we've done because we think it makes us seem really sorry. Well, I'm really, really sorry, so I'm going to be guilty the rest of my life because if I let go of that guilt, it means I'm not really sorry. And what really wrapped my mind around forgiving myself is thinking of Jesus putting the sins on the cross and that I was mocking His sacrifice. If I do not forgive myself when He has died for my sins, I am saying your sacrifice, Jesus, really didn't mean anything because I'm going to spend the rest of my life beating myself up for the guilt I feel for all the mistakes I've made. It's huge. And there's not just guilt for the sins we've done. There's guilt about weight. I got down to within 14 pounds of my desired goal weight. 14 pounds. That's a breath away. That's like right, I could see it. The light was shining in my face. And I thought, wow, I'm really close. And I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can keep the weight up. I don't think I can do this. And a couple pounds crept up and a couple more pounds crept up. And I built a little more than a 14-pound buffer from my ideal weight loss. And I've had an extremely rough session because of a number of variables. And I looked at it a lot and said, is it because of my emotional baggage? And I wasn't so sure. But that's why I wanted to explore it tonight. I think a lot of it is I failed so many times. How can I possibly succeed? How can I? Who am I if I succeed at weight loss? Huh? How everyone else fails, why shouldn't I fail? I lost weight, gained it, lost weight, gained it, lost weight, gained it. Who am I if I'm a success? I'm a child of God. So that's what we have to do. We have to practice positive affirmations by stating out loud, you know, Ellen, you might have not gotten to your weight loss goal, but you've done a heck of a good job keeping things off. Plus, every week you go and try to help other people, Ellen. Don't you be beating yourself up. Think about the good things you've done. Forgive yourself. I forgive myself for not getting to my goal weight, but I'm still here. I'm still trying. And another thing about the guilt and the regret, I just read the most incredible article. It was on PTSD. And many of us suffer from a form of PTSD over something that might have happened in our lives. It's not just soldiers in a war who can suffer from PTSD. And there are many forms of it, and a lot of it manifests itself in anxiety. And I was thinking to myself that one of the things is when you've done something really bad. Now, I personally never had to face an unwanted pregnancy. I never had an abortion. But I know people who have had abortions. And they have said to me, I suffer from PTSD because I did something that was so different than who I am as a person that it's called a moral injury. When you have done something in your life that is so different than who you are as a person and what you believe in, and this is what soldiers experience in war. They see killing, or maybe they've killed someone, like a child got killed or whatever. It's called a moral injury. And we need to say to God, if you forgive me, I need to forgive myself. Get rid of that regret. Remind yourself of decisions that you are proud of. And you know, all shame is, I always say that regret is the sister to guilt. And shame is the brother to guilt and regret. They all come in together. You know, we've all done things we wouldn't want to broadcast to the blog world, you know? We've all done things that we are ashamed of, that we can beat ourselves up about. I had a friend in college who was a bigwig professor, the one I told you about last week, that died from Alzheimer's. And she used to say to me, you're one of the most wonderful people I've ever met. You shine God's light. You're so this, you're so that. And I said to her, please don't say that, because you don't know how bad I am, how the mistakes I've made, the sins I've committed. Please don't say those nice things about me. And I remember saying that to her, and she looked at me, she goes, oh my gosh, Ellen, God loves you so much. You think anything you could possibly do can keep that love of Christ from your life? You have to realize that you are wonderful. And I'm telling you that right now. And I tried to believe it, and I've taken maybe 50 more years to try to say some days I'm not so bad. Your inner critic. We are so rough on ourselves. You know, I'm supposed to wear purple today, and I put this shirt on, but I'm holding my jacket because I got that, ever have those pants where it's that one little roll that keeps like kind of tugging there, and I keep pulling my pants up over that one little roll, and then when I feel like, uh-oh, that one little roll showing, I take my jacket and shut it a little, and then I look to heaven and go, why do I have that roll? Why can't I get rid of that roll? And it's that inner critic. We just judge ourselves so harshly. It can be our friend, but rarely. Rarely does a friend say, oh, Ellen, you're so awesome. You're so great. I love you, Ellen. Go, girlfriend. No, my inner critic's saying, oh, you're fat. You're getting out front of that group, and you gained 2 pounds again this week. So that's 4 pounds in 2 weeks, and I actually almost began to think about swearing today. Now, my little great nephew got a flu shot, and he freaked out. Oh, he screamed, he yelled, he threw his little 4-year-old body on the floor. He was like, no, no. That's how I felt when I gained 10 pounds today. I wanted to throw my body on the floor. I wanted to go, no, no, no. So guess what I decided to do? God put it on my heart. I do the best during Lent. I am the queen. Anybody knows me? What am I? Queen of Lent. I decided that tomorrow, you know how there's Advent? Between now and our last meeting, there's a little over 40 days. I'm going to call it Ad Lent. And I'm going to start Lent tomorrow. I'm going to have Lent, and I'm going to give up hot sauce and mustard, any nuts. I'm going to do everything I ever do during Lent, and I am going to, and the table's going, Ellen, don't do that to yourself. I have to try to kick my body, because ever since I gave up the nicotine gum, my body's having a little bit of an adjustment problem. Anger. We just talked a little bit about weight loss, anger, and I had it this morning. Here it is, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I said to Bob, you know, I got up to ride the bike, but I gained weight, so I'm not going to ride the bike. Screw it. I'm not doing it. And now I know he was tempted to say, don't you always say to the group, the exercise is good in and of itself, it's not related to weight loss. He was so tempted to throw my words right back in my face. Instead he said, you do whatever you think is best. I agree with you. If you don't want to ride the bike, you don't have to. So he walked out the door, shut the door, and I said, oh, I'm going to ride the bike. And then that's when I got the brilliant idea to have Ad Lent. We talk about past relationships. If you're feeling bad about some guy you dated, oh, speaking of which, I went to this conference, you know, and this guy came in that I kind of liked back in the day, like 30 years, no, how many years ago? 40 years ago? Yeah, 40. Oh my gosh, I'm getting old. Anyway, it was like 40 years ago. And he wouldn't give me the time of day. And he married, you know, this cute little girl. But wasn't he with her? He looked pretty good, but she looked very, very bad. And I don't mean anything bad by that, Lord. But he couldn't have been nicer to me, the same person that he didn't want to date 40 years ago. But I never gave him another thought. And even after that, I'm like, you know what? It wasn't meant to be. If you're worrying about something that ended 20 years ago, let it go. Stress and worry. We talk a lot about that. And you just feel like you're doing something. Do you think you don't love your kids enough if you're not worrying about them? Oh, I got to worry about my kids to prove I really love them. That's like being guilty all the time for your sins, otherwise you're not really sorry. The same thing with fear. Bob and I have been together 30 years. We've never flown together. In February, we're flying to Vegas, so we're going to have you start praying right now. And Bob, I'm going to stop right there, honey.